Yeah, my name is Arseniy Goldberg. I'm actually a Russian that grew up in the US. I studied finance and worked in, let's say, financial consulting for most of my career. Then I studied the MBA after that career, and also a master in digital business, which then translated to a lot of projects in startup world. So I've worked on, let's say, 3 startups to the MVP stage. And now I'm working actually in an ed tech startup alongside helping out SABAH.lab. So a lot of my work has been in consulting finance and then helping out startups in different ways. Yeah, the city, I'm actually amazed by it because, most of the time we've been in the office and meeting people is the main thing. But then going around and seeing different things about the culture of the food, the different decorations and things like this, I really feel that it's kind of a hidden gem because I don't think enough people know about it. When I told my friends that I was coming here, they said, that's the place where the F1 race is. And I told them after coming here, hey, you guys have to come and check it out yourself because there are many great things that we don't know about the place, and now that you come and you figure out the people, the food, some of the decorations and how you guys do business is very interesting. Yeah, technically my role is kind of the program or project manager, however you want to call it, from the side of Madrid, right? So we have these 2 sides, the Baku side and the Madrid side, because IE is involved in this partnership. And my role is trying to figure out what you all need as our customer in all of this and try to put together those pieces. So whether it's finding research, whether it's determining admissions, applications, whether it's determining the strategy for the entire program and how we're gonna get better each and every time, those are the things that I'm doing. And the main thing is connecting the Madrid world, which is where the IE ecosystem is, to the, let's say, building and the thriving ecosystem here in Baku. Yeah, I think that anytime this is, as we think of it, this is somewhat of a startup itself, right? And as we get into the later questions, I'll explain to you that it's really important to have the proper surrounding around your startup in order for it to thrive. And I think the same thing here, because you have very talented people, you have very good ideas, but you haven't placed the infrastructure around it all, right? The same way you build a city, like you need to build the infrastructure and then the people can live within that city. IE is providing some of its knowledge and some of its expertise to build that infrastructure here, to build the ecosystem, because you have very talented people. You just need to figure out how did other people do this in order for us to try to figure out how to potentially copy that and then implement our own flavors within our specific environment. It's a bit about what I just talked about, which is having something like having a helping hand in this, because as I was explaining to some of the potential participants, like you need to see a path for potential growth and for potential opportunity, and a mentor usually helps you with that path. Like taking a look at somebody and saying, this person built the business like this, they took these steps, maybe I can implement some of this. I can't just build a car from taking a couple of wheels, as Joe Haslam mentioned. Like, you have to figure out an incremental way to grow to that point where it is a business, and mentorship is the key thing. And I think that that's what we hope to provide the participants, as somebody that they can go to and say, hey, I need some help with this. How do I get there? Because the intelligence is all there. It's just a matter of unblocking certain things to get to a certain point. I like the difference in what I've seen, because in a society you have a lot of different aspects. Like you have people of different ages, different cultures, different motives, different interests, and I've seen that already here in the little bit of time that we've been. And I think the interesting thing for me is that I'm seeing in younger and, let's say, older people that I ran into today, that they have shifted away from the corporate mindset. And it's not that you need to go away from that completely, but in our minds as we finish university, we think that we have to go to a corporate in order to be successful and in order to, let's say, have our dreams come true. But then as you build certain paths for people to take different routes in their life, it becomes much more interesting what they can do actually along those paths. And that's what we hope to do with SABAH.lab is provide a different path for people to be creative and to find a way to add value to the world. And I've seen that already, a bit of a change of mindset in the people saying, I've seen this problem in our community and I think that we can do it differently. Yeah, and I mentioned this in a different, let's say, segment where I talked about the fact that we are a startup. Like the SABAH.lab is a startup in itself. And the most impressive, the most surprising thing for me has been how quickly we've gathered all these resources and how we've put together something that, this is almost like the MVP, you know? The bootcamp is the MVP, and we've come up with it so quickly because of the help of all these different parties. And I think that the most impressive and surprising thing about that is the fact that we are again showing a potential model to the participants and to the community that works, and that's what you have to implement in order to change the mindset and really to drive, let's say, innovation and entrepreneurship within the community. Yeah, this is a good question. I was thinking you were going to ask what would I recommend to those that didn't, but I'll get to that maybe later. The ones that get accepted, they need to gather people around them and let's say infect them in a good way with whatever they have been granted with to be accepted in the program. And granted, I mean that they built in their lives to get to a point where they are viewed as a potential really good entrepreneur. And this is something I talked about with the participants. I said, hey, you have to get as many people on board of this train as possible, because if there are different paths or different opportunities that we're building here at SABAH.lab, you have to get other people involved and thinking at least as close in that mindset as possible. That way we can truly build the ecosystem. Yeah, I would say stay as close to this as possible, continue learning, because a lot of the people that I've seen today, they're maybe just a little bit not ready in certain pieces of that mindset, but they are very interesting profiles and very interesting people. And I think that's the main thing here is like, can you sell yourself to somebody else? That's most of entrepreneurship is like, can you sell your idea? Can you sell yourself to somebody else? And I see a lot of people on their path to that, but just a little bit are just a little young in that process. So stay with the ecosystem, go out and learn about business, about entrepreneurship, about different trends, and then come back in another cohort, because there are going to be hopefully many of them to come.
Great, thank you so much.
Welcome to SABAH.lab, where we make startups happen.